Hey everyone. So this week we are no longer using this book for our reading lesson. So after I get done reading each chapter, there will not be an assignment. We're going to actually get back into our reading, our big reading book, our curriculum, but I still want to read this and finish this book with you. So chapter 10, the North Pole Racers and the Puppy Pirate crew tied, and their treasure was Santa's workshop. So they found out that Mrs. C is Santa Claus's wife, and they met Santa Claus. So chapter 11, which is where we're starting today, this is called The Greatest Treasure of All. So I will read chapter 11. Here's the picture before we start. Okay, greatest treasure of all. Oh man, Henry said. He knocked his palm against his forehead. C stands for Claus, doesn't it? You're Mrs. Claus. Mrs. C laughed. That's a fact, but I always go by Mrs. C. Too much fame in the family name for my taste. Santa and I, we have very different interests. He loves making toys and eating cookies, and his whole year is built around one wonderful magical night. Me, I prefer a little more action and adventure in my day. The puppy pirates followed Mrs. Claus and the North Pole Racers into a giant room that was stuffed with goodies. The pups from the Salty Bones sniffed in corners and poked their noses onto shelves, and Mrs. Claus gave them time to explore every inch of the workshop. More little elf pups bustled around them, hard at work, building new toys, wrapping presents, and baking treats. This is the best treasure ever, Captain Redbeard barked, gazing around the workshop. Toys, games, snacks, stuffed ducks, everything. Every single thing on my list is inside this workshop. Wally barked excitedly. Maybe we would finally find the perfect gift for Henry inside Santa's workshop. He nosed through piles of toys and treats, but nothing inside the shop seemed perfect enough. Mrs. Claus clapped for attention. Shall we get to the treasure then? This isn't the treasure? Henry asked. Mrs. Claus laughed. Oh, dear me, no. The real treasure is in there. She pointed to a huge door and then held up a gold key. Who wants to do the honors? Captain Redbeard and Blizzard both raced forward. They shoved and wrestled, trying to get to the key first. Finally, the two team captains fell on the ground in a tangle of legs and paws. Shaking her head, Mrs. Claus slipped the key into the lock and turned it. Then she looked at Frosty, so this little guy right here. You, pup, went out of your way to help the visitors take part in the race today, so I will let you do the honors. You have truly embraced the spirit of the season. Please, friend, show us to the treasure. Frosty stepped forward. He nudged the door open with his nose. On the other side was a huge golden sleigh. Henry cried, It's Santa's sleigh! But I thought the reindeer pulled Santa's sleigh. Ho, 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 Mrs. Claus chuckled. Everybody knows there's no sled team like the dog sled team. The pups raced inside and crowded around that giant gold sled. Captain Redbeard sniffed it, and he pawed at it, and he tried to dig under it. Well, where is the treasure? The gold coins and jewels and everything. The greatest treasure of all, Mrs. Claus told everyone, is having the chance to pull Santa's gifts in this sleigh. You get to help Santa share the joy of the season. What could be better than the gift of giving? Well, this is hoodly-toodly nonsense, Captain Redbeard wailed. I am not giving away this treasure. It is mine. This season is about getting, not sharing. Wally didn't know what to think. Giving sounded like a lot of fun. On the other hand, so did the treasure. Old Salt rapped his peg leg on the floor to get the captain's attention. Listen here, Captain, he said quietly. I think you might want to pay attention to what Mrs. Claus is saying. She said we won a gold sleigh. The captain whined, but we don't get to keep it. Old Salt cleared his throat. I think what she's actually telling us is the greatest gift of all is having the chance to share joy with others. He's right, Frosty woofed. I loved helping your crew in the race today, even though it was cold. Remember how much fun it was to help those weirdos fix up their old ghost ship? Spike barked. That was a good day. One of my best days ever was in pirate school. I loved helping the rest of the crew learn how to read maps, Einstein said. Wally thought about it. How had Mrs. Claus put it? The giving was a gift? Wally realized this was true. That's why he wanted to find the right gift for Henry. Nothing made Wally happier than making his friends happy. That was number 1 on his wish list. Giving really is the best gift, he barked. Maybe we should try this. Old Salt said, What do you say, Captain? I bet we can be the best givers the North Pole has ever seen. Aye, Captain Redbeard woofed. I will be the best. It's time for us to do a little more than splashing through the snow, I guess. But before Redbeard could squeeze into the harness at the front of the sleigh, Blizzard barked. Hold up. The team's tied for first. That means we get to pull the sleigh too. Fine, Captain Redbeard said. He didn't look happy, but I'm in charge. No ho ho, Blizzard laughed. I am in charge. So Blizzard is the main dog for the North Pole Racers, and Captain Redbeard is the main dog, the captain for Puppy Pirates. And right now they're trying to see who leads the sleigh. The two pups growled at each other. Captain Redbeard barked, Puppy Pirates, line up, let's take the front. And Blizzard howled, North Pole Racers, line up, we will take the front. There was a mad dash for the harnesses, so all the dogs are running right now. Wally was poked and jostled and he was wiggled into his harness. He had just slipped his shoulders through when Captain Redbeard hollered, Gee, which I believe you go right when they say G. At the same moment, Blizzard barked, Haw, which that word means you go left. So like all the dogs are going right and left. The Puppy Pirates ran right and the North Pole Racers ran left. The sleds squeaked and creaked and Mrs. Claus shouted, Be careful. You need to work together. This sleigh is centuries old. We have to treat it with respect or it will... Mrs. Claus went silent and there was a loud crack in the air. Ooh. Everyone stopped, but it was too late. Mrs. Claus sighed and the sled split into 2. Or it will break, said Mrs. Claus. Oh no, they were fighting and their fighting made the sleigh break. So that was chapter 11. I'll be on with chapter 12, Sailing Through the Snow, tomorrow.